quitefrankly.tv. Do that throughout the weekend. See what's coming up. On Monday, we're going to have at some point, remember Monday night, I go live at 7:30 instead of 7 because there's T-ball. And then at some point around the 8 o'clock hour, Jim Lee will come on because there's a few things I want to ask him about from a cyber standpoint, because there was a great thread that our friend Shem Horn, our great friend Shem Horn put out there about monetization on the internet and strange things that are happening on Twitter that are reminiscent of things that marked the beginning of the end on Facebook with like boosting posts and all that other stuff, but also where the past conversations about the true nature of internet metrics and how people are making money through artificial, automated, impersonal means. It's all kind of coming together. I think Jim Lee would be a good guy to talk to about that, as well as just covering this great thread that Shem put together. Then there's the sun dimming conversation from this week that happened in the UK. That would be a great thing to follow up on from last Thursday when we were talking to Jim when he came on talking about the needle and the haystack. Well, I know he concentrates on the haystack, but this is an example of, here's a needle. And we'll do that. So that's how Monday's going to kick off. Tuesday, we won't be on air because it's Lauren's birthday. And then just check it out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're right back into it. There's some awesome guests coming up. And I hope that you enjoyed it tonight. In fact, tonight, no matter where you're watching the 7 o'clock show, there's a little bit of an end of the week poll that's up there right now. Thanks for the great week, everyone. What was your favorite thing about it? Was the guests and the topics? Was it the spring weather? Or if you're watching this after the fact, if you're not watching it live, which the majority of the audience does watch it in their own time over the course of a couple of days, go into the comment sections. Comment on anything. As long as you comment, it's great. But let me know what you liked most about this week, and that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. 81% so far out of the 77 people who voted said it was the guests, it was the topics. Just remember, wherever you're watching, like the episode, watch it, like it on Rumble, like it on YouTube. Wherever the hell it has a like button, do it. If it has a share button, do it. Every platform is the same. It really boosts to any nominal degree whatever is being interacted with. So that's the best way that you can sponsor the show on a nightly basis by, fractions of a second at a time. Little clicks here, a heart, a thumbs up, a share. Thank you for all of that stuff. What else do we have? Oh, I want to thank, again, my sponsors for the week, Keto Brainz. It's inside of my coffee. This is my second round of the day. I only have 2 cups of coffee a day at maximum. And it always has Keto Brainz in it now, especially when it's iced. I'm in the iced mood. And I can't wait to talk to you guys next. 2 Fridays from now on the 9th, Molly is coming back on the show with Jay Gulanello on May 9th. And we're going to be making an announcement together because Keto Brainz is going to be a part of it. And they're really, really great partners. They have a fantastic product that I really can't do without. I mean, you could do without it. I prefer not to. I enjoy it so much, and it makes you feel great. And you should check it out too. If you want samples, get in touch with me. I'm hell bent on getting everybody to taste this and know what it's all about. And there's going to be more science provided to you. So use promo code Frankly for 20% off of your first purchase. If you're a sponsor, let me know, and I'll tell you what your recurring 20% off code is. And thanks again, Molly, and everybody at Keto Brainz. That's it. That is it. That's it for right now. So I will talk to you guys in a second. Let's get this one kicked off because I want to bring Mike on. All right. Be right back.
Everyone knows Mario was cool as fuck. Horrible opening. But who knows what he's thinking? Who knows why he crushes turtles? And why do we think about him as fondly as we think of the mythical, non-existent Dr. Pepper through question marks? Perchance, you can't just say perchance. I believe it was Kant who said experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play. Mario is experienced by crushing turtles. Stop. All day. but exhibits theory by saying, "Let's go, keep it up, baby." 5 question marks. When Mario leaves his place of safety to stop attorney, he doesn't even die. Okay, question mark. A man can purchase lives with his money. A life becomes a mere store of value, a tax that can be paid for much as a rich man feels any law without finding some price. We think of Mario as a hero, but he is simply a 1%er. Why are we saying this? The more privileged variety of the life kind. Perchance cross.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's
Okay. Mary's theme. Aurora likes this song. She hums it in the back seat whenever it comes up on a shuffle or something like that. All right. Oh, first of all, I just want to say that last night's episode with Eric Hunley, in it we referenced the Manchurian Candidate experiment that was aired on TV years ago. A member of the audience sent me the link again, and it jogged my memory, and I put it back into the interesting shite playlist that's on the front page of the YouTube. It's by Darren Brown, and Stephen Fry was the target of the Manchurian Candidate experiment, where they got a guy to try to off him with blanks and all that stuff. And so check it out. I know it's been around for a while. I forgot who was a part of it, but I remember it used to be put into the After Hours playlist years ago. And thank you so much once again for the audience for jogging my memory. All right, let's see. Before Mike comes on, take a look at this. FBI arrests Wisconsin judge accused of helping illegal immigrant hide from ICE. FBI Director Kash Patel announced Friday that the Bureau has arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee on charges of obstruction, accusing the Dugan. Why they call her the Dugan? The Dugan of obstructing an arrest of illegal immigrants last week. Look at there she goes. She put a face mask on Abraham Lincoln. How nice of her. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest, Patel said in a brief statement shared on X, which was subsequently deleted and reposted. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since, but the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. No word on why the post was removed, but the bombshell arrest comes after radio host Dan O'Donnell reported that a federal investigation had been launched. Dugan, who said to have been assisted the illegal alien evading FBI and ICE agents attempted to arrest at the courthouse. The alleged incident occurred after the clerk was notified of federal agents' arrival to apprehend the illegal alien. She then allegedly allowed the illegal migrant to hide in her jury room, which traditionally is not open for defendants to use, and then telling them, just get out of here, go. I'll hold them off. So it's crazy. 2 judges in the last 24 hours. There was another one in New Mexico. Arrest of a former New Mexico judge who was accused of having alleged Tren de Aragua gang member as a tenant. Former Doña Anna County Magistrate Joel Cano, and his wife Nancy Cano were arrested this week at their North Raymond Street home. So, I mean, listen. Take out the sweat lamps. That's what I'm going to say with this. Take out the sweat lamps. It's time to interrogate these people. They deserve more scrutiny. People like this deserve more scrutiny than the people we were waterboarding in order to force confessions during the early goings of the war on terror after 9/11. And I am serious about that. Foreign threats, the foreign threats that we have been fed over the last 30 years to varying degrees of success, they have actually paled in comparison to the enemies that we have here at home, eating our guts while we're still alive. And I've long since had enough of this shit. Long since. I hope that this is a shot across the bow to all of the mayors and the governors who want to stand by this sanctuary shit. And I hope they go to jail as well. I hope these judges go to jail. You know, the 2 Slugworth judges that were arrested. These are the people who are essentially the tip of the spear, because you have to create judicial predicate for all of it and precedent. These are the people who rubber stamp everything that has been done to undercut our civil liberties from one instance to another, whatever the hell the national emergency is at the time, the national emergency du jour, to undercut our culture, our national security, because of course this is a national security issue. No doubt about it. And they're on the wrong side of it intentionally. So I know that legions of slug spook lawyers and the media will rally around these creeps and make them out to be Oscar Schindler. But these are the worst types of people. These are the worst types of people. And if they start actually going to jail, oh man, that would be great. That would be fantastic. So just throwing that out there. One other thing that I want to throw out is just a little bit more on Klaus Schwab, because what is this? George Christensen put this thread out the other day. Here it is, the fall of Schwab, and why Klaus Schwab, the godfather of globalism, pushed out of the World Economic Forum after 55 years in charge. His own staff blew the whistle. Here's what they exposed. He didn't step down because he was tired. He was forced out after an explosive internal letter from WEF employees exposed years of corruption, luxury, and lies inside the forum. The letter claimed Schwab treated the WEF like his own empire. It was. He sent junior staff to withdraw thousands in cash, billed hotel massages to donors, took luxury holidays disguised as business. I mean, this is what I thought it was. This is what I assumed it was. You think about all of the luxury that they live in when they get together in Davos. It's just one of those eye-catching pieces of, examples of hypocrisy, of people who want to moderate how everyone in the world is able to earn a living and to be able to live free from dependence of one system or another, and kind of slap everybody on the wrist for their consumption habits or the way that their diet is set up or how they want to travel and see the world and why and by what means they use to go travel. It was always about hypocrisy, and we can see that they are self-indulgent pigs. They're pigs, which is what I don't understand about this. Okay? This is what I don't understand. His inner staff. And other people are saying the same things. This is the man who told you to eat bugs, ditch your car, and own nothing and be happy. And people are this one guy, George Christensen, is saying that this is the crack in the facade for globalism. It is a clear example that the invincibility of Davos and its influence, which has very openly and proudly proclaim that they have their proteges inside of the cabinets of so many first world nations and their governments. I don't know what I believe about this. Just got to be honest. You think about for example, what did George Stephanopoulos do to Joe Biden in the summer of 2024, especially when he was no longer a viable candidate. Think about this. Everybody in the media knew that everybody who was watching them, whether they were in support of their efforts to shape the world and the opinion of what's going on in the world, or if they were opposed to the subversive role that they were playing. If we watch the news to criticize it, to mock it, and we see it as illegitimate, or if we watch CNN because we think that it's actually top-tier journalism, everybody at CNN, MSNBC, they knew in the summer of 2024 that at least some overtures had to be made to reclaim, at least in some kind of a performative way, their integrity. And that's when George Stephanopoulos went out there and gave the hardball questions to Joe Biden and all that. And, we ask, why are they doing this stuff? Why do people all of a sudden seem to be taking a little bit more of a righteous, hard-nosed, responsible take on something and not really standing in party line affiliations like they usually do? Is it to be able to, what is the play to the public? The same thing is going on with my mind with Klaus Schwab, and I'm happy to see other people as well. Here's one guy, native Texan, said, this man is 87 years old and has been the chairman of the WEF since 1971. Are we to believe after all these years that he was forced out by recent discoveries, or could this all be carefully crafted deception by the WEF to present itself as with a facelift in order to be embraced by an unsuspecting world being undermined by new AI-driven technologies? The timing is highly dubious. Yeah, AI-driven technologies, ones that were published by Klaus Schwab, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Great Reset, the narrative, the Great Narrative. I forget what the hell it was, but it's one of those things. People try to infiltrate Davos all the time. They're seen as a get together of the world's real life Bond villains. Is this a way to say, look, we have enough integrity that we actually ousted the head honcho. Now you can trust us. We truly are altruistic, and we love the world, and we want to make it a better place. And now the young elephants have been let into the tent. So just throwing that out there. Something about the timing, of course, announced on the same day as the Pope's death, and more on that coming up. But anyway, now I would like to bring in our good buddy, Mike Baldwin, MikeIsFunny.com. It's been a couple of weeks since the last time we've seen him. The Christmas tree is starting to become a little bit more patriotic as the weeks go on. Mike, how you feeling?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's a 4th of July tree now.
You skipped right over Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, I did.
Well, it's all right.
Memorial Day is before. Wait, when's Memorial Day?
May 26th this year.
Then it's that too.
Yep. And then you just wait. You could also say that you put it up. That was the 250th anniversary of Lexington and Concord was over the weekend on the 19th.
Interesting. It's also the 30th is the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War.
Wow.
And I only know that because my friend Tony Vin is Vietnamese, and he did a thing where he interviewed his mom, and it was really touching, actually. And I just watched it before I came on here, so it's on the top of my mind. Wow.
Well, that's is that a real life in-person friend, or is, a lot of people? Is that a friend on the internet?
Nowadays he's more of a friend on the internet. He was a real life friend though. We did comedy together in Kansas City for years. But now he lives in wherever he lives now, far away from where I am. So we only see each other on Facebook and stuff nowadays. But yeah. Anyway, so it's got which way do I turn it? I got the American flag. You can't really see, but the Santa on top has an Uncle Sam hat that I stuck on top.
Oh,
I
see it.
I went to the Dollar Tree and I spent $5 and turned my whole tree into a festive American tree now. And now I don't have to do anything with it until Halloween.
I'm telling you, some of the people that I respect the most are seasoned bargain hunters. And that would be a really great show to do one day, an entire episode on bargain hunting and the greatest bargains you've ever found. Or, I mean, we've done like tag sale treasure hunts before, stories about, hey, did you ever go into an attic and find some precious heirloom that you didn't know, from a past resident? Or did you ever go to a tag sale and spot something that was being sold for $3.50, but you knew that this was like some antique roadshow gold mine? I love stories like that.
I had a Sega Genesis, and in the 90s they had a thing called Sega CD.
I had that.
And I got it at like a pawn shop or something, but it was in the box and everything. And I don't remember dollar amounts now, but I know it was cheap. And I played that thing. I had it for about 2 years, and then I took it, put it back in the box, and took it to Walmart and returned it for a full refund. That was back when you could just return stuff to Walmart without a receipt or anything.
So how much did you make on it?
I mean, I played it for free for years and then made whatever the full value of it was at the time, a couple $100 probably.
Damn, man. Sega CD. I didn't have as many. I had like NBA Jam and stuff for Sega CD. What I had a lot of games for was the next thing that came out, which was Sega Saturn. You remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, I don't remember playing it as much as I remember it had like the screensaver screen or something like that. That I want to say it was like Stars Falling or something like that. I know that it was playing in the background during many drunken high school parties at my neighbor Brad's house.
Sega Saturn used to be like, how could the graphics get any better?
I know. Isn't it crazy to think about? I was playing, there was that game on Sega CD called Sewer Shark.
Yeah.
And it was basically just like video clips of a guy, and then it cuts to you playing the game. But at the time, I mean, it's just that guy chiming in, saying like, dude, you got to turn up here, or whatever he would say. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that is a photograph of the Earth.
Hold on. Dude, I never play. I don't think I ever. I always failed at Sewer Shark. I never understood.
It's all really simple. It's like you go up, down, left, or right to stay in the tube, and once you get the pattern down, yeah, it's not that hard. From what I can remember, I'm sure you got to like shoot guys or whatever too, but that was a long time ago.
Hold on, I want to see this.
You been hearing from me.
It was like you're in a movie, and the thing that sucked for me is that every time I watched the movie, I was like, "Oh wow, this looks really legit," but I know I'm going to fail. So I know how this movie is going to end. It's going to end with my failure. Hold on, let's get into the gameplay.
Oh, the memories!
Wow.
Yeah, you just go straight for a while, and then you'll see a turn coming up, and you gotta adjust to that. But look, I mean, you're just going straight. That's the game. You're just sitting there holding the controller, watching, and shooting little frogs.
Sewer Shark. Anyway, well, there's the time.
Good memories.
Very
Speaking
good.
of on subject, I'm excited for the release of Nintendo Switch 2, and I hope that I have enough money to get one when they come out.
I don't even know what the Switch 1 is. Is that like is that the mobile one that I see people watching playing?
Yeah, or you connect it to your TV and you plug the thing in and you play it on your TV, or you can remove the thing and play it in your hand. It switches.
Wow.
The Nintendo Switch.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And the Zelda games on that are just the best games that I've played in my life. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And though they haven't announced them yet, you know they're going to make some new ones for the better Nintendo Switch 2. And they did make a Mario Kart World, so it's like Mario Kart, but you can go anywhere. And they're doing like a 3D Donkey Kong sort of thing too. We're all very excited.
It's an open world Mario Kart,
right? Who would have thunk?
Damn. Okay. How you race if you can go anywhere?
I have no idea.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, but I know I'm gonna try it.
You got to let me know. You got to let me know. There's a lot of interesting things happening. There's one interesting thing happening in the sky. Oh, wait, did it already happen? This was updated on the 24th of April, which was what? When was that? Yesterday? Take a look at this. A rare smiley face will light up Pittsburgh area on Friday morning. That was this morning. So this morning, look what happened in Pittsburgh. What's that? You have two. What is this? It is Friday
Saturn
morning.
and Venus.
Saturn and Venus line up to create what will look like a smiley face with this crescent moon. It's kind of smug and I don't know, passive aggressive, condescending. What do you think about this? What does that face tell you?
I'm not mad at the fact that the universe did that for us. I'm okay with it. I'll tell you, if I didn't read a news story about it, it would be a really cool thing to just look up in the sky and be like, look, dude, that looks like a fucking smiley face.
It's true. It happened at 5:30 in the morning. So, obviously people who are up, those early morning warriors who go to the gym or whatever the hell else,
I'm imagining the guy who went out with his friends after work on Thursday and ended up staying out and lost his car, had to walk a long way. He's still drunk and he's like, I'm just going to walk the 3.5 miles home. It won't take me that long. And then he just looks up in the sky and sees a nice smiley face.
It's reassuring. Every once in a while, he goes home. You never guess what happened to me. There's a smiley face in the sky. Okay, Jerry, you got it.
Okay, whatever, dude. I'm telling you,
he was smiling at me. Talking about perfect timing, strange things you never thought you ever see before, things with no explanation. At least things that we can't explain. I'm sure an astronomer can tell you how the smiley face forms from time to time and how often it happens. But this week, a couple of nights ago, we did Small World stories, Glitch in the Matrix stories, and it got a lot of great response, and I'm still getting emails because of it. I wanted to get through a few of them over here, but I was wondering for you, especially a guy who is very observant and always contemplating things around you, because that's what a writer does, whether you're a comedian or doesn't matter. That's just the kind of mind you have. Have you ever had some of those inexplicable moments, like 1 in a million moments, where you can't believe the chances, that you almost think it's got to be some sort of a simulation? Anything like that happen to you?
I mean, mine's stupid, and it's clearly not a Matrix thing. But when I was probably 5 or 6, we had a thing in Kansas City called Worlds of Fun, which was like our version of Six Flags or something, and they had the thing where you're in the big circle raft, and there's like 6 or 7 people can fit in there, and you go and all the whatever, and it splashes you, and it's a lot of fun. But I was there with my family, my mom and dad, and my 2 sisters, and probably some cousins and stuff were there also. But I remember my dad had jeans and cowboy boots on, and we're just standing in line, and there's hundreds of people in this line. We're waiting for an hour or something to get on this ride, and I just see jeans and a cowboy boot, and I just wrap my arms around it because it's my dad, and so I'm just standing there holding on to my dad's leg, and I look up, and there's my dad standing like 6 feet over this direction, just smiling at this man like, hey, that's my son, I don't know. And I just remember looking at this man and just screaming bloody murder.
Oh, man.
It was a stranger, but in my mind, like, my dad switched from this body to that body over there, and I didn't understand it. So that was my stupid Matrix moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least before the realization and you realize what happened, you just made a simple mistake. There was how did the transportation happen? This was my father. How did this happen?
Yeah, and I was 5 or 6, so I couldn't say, "Oh, a simple mistake, sir. You had the jeans and boots. I just thought." I just screamed and cried, and I don't even remember getting on the ride or anything after that. I think the trauma erased the memory after that.
Well, I mean, listen, it happens. It does. I feel like something like that has happened to me before. with a great grandparent or so. It was a strange thing, but I can't remember the whole thing. You triggered some very familiar feeling inside of me at that point. But here is one that just came in after the fact. This is from Jacqueline, and she submitted a little something for Glitch in the Matrix stories. Take a listen to this. Hold on,
Oh, I was like, something's wrong. I can't hear anything.
let's try again.
Hi, Frank. My name's Jacqueline. I don't know if I'm too late for your It's a Small World thread, but wanted to share some things about me and my husband. So my husband, he's a few years younger than me, and I met him when I picked up a second job waiting tables at a restaurant. He happened to work there too. And we come to find out we went to the same high school. He was just younger than me, so I already graduated by the time he started there. But then also his grandparents were down the street from my grandparents, and my cousin used to live right over there, and his grandma used to babysit for my cousin, and when she got bigger she used to babysit for his cousins. And then just through the town and school we just know a lot of the same people but had never officially met each other. So it was just funny. We almost had like these kind of parallel lives and then never met until I picked up a second job waiting tables. And we've been together for 10 years now. You may know him as Crisco Fist. He's called into the show a couple times.
Absolutely.
But just wanted to share the story. I love your show. Thanks, Frank. Bye.
Yeah, you know what? I do know Crisco Fist. Been watching for a long time, and that's really interesting. Yeah, when you think about small towns, Mike, it is incredible because so many people know so many other people in a small town. Many can be related, especially if it's, there's so many generations. If it's not familial, then it is some, the friends, work associates, whatever the hell it is. So it is almost as unlikely that you don't know each other until later in life and realize that so many people in your family and circles of friends were essentially raised by each other, but you never came across this one person that you were destined to marry until later on. So I just feel like the chances of that are so low in itself, outside of, meeting somebody or running into somebody from your small town 7,000 miles away in some kind of international bazaar or something like that in Cairo, Egypt. But yeah, I really enjoyed that contribution.
Yeah, that was a nice story. It happens with comedy a lot where I'll be in a random town somewhere and somebody that I went to high school with will be at the show. And I'm just, they're like, hey, I moved here. I saw a flyer above the urinal with your face on it. And I was like, I got to go see that guy. Just, small world sort of stuff. But I haven't found, I guess my wife is out there somewhere, and she's probably somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knew my cousin or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, one of your grandparents raised her mother, or it was like a camp counselor. That's what will happen, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we've talked about this, but I wish that I knew more of my family history and my ancestry and stuff. But for one, I have no idea. And then two, I'm scared to give my DNA to the government.
I understand that, but you want to know something? Whereas I have not done that. I've had people in my family have done the 23andMe and all that other stuff. I also understand where people are just like, at this point in the game, what the hell does it matter?
Right.
So much of our data, so much of the information on us has been compiled. What the hell is one drop of blood?
That's one of my biggest fears, or not a fear, but like a thing that I assume is going to happen one day. And that is every electronic device will be opened up by hackers, and you'll be able to look at anybody's phone, computer, all of their history just by searching their name or searching a date or something like that. and like an old girlfriend or something, you'll be like, she said that she was with her friend on this day. Like, what was she really doing? And like I want to write a script about it actually, because I think it would be a good movie to just, first of all, like child predators and stuff like that would be caught immediately. Everybody that's ever done any sort of fraud or like screwing people over, anything illegal that's on their talked about on their phone, all those people would get arrested. A bunch of people would probably kill their spouses or themselves or something. I think a lot of people would kill themselves the moment that they were like, wait, people can search the whole internet for anything that I've ever said. Like, I don't want to deal with this.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. I can see a lot of freakouts and people just like, all right, no, I might as well just end it all.
But it's also one of those things where it's like, hey, everybody, if everybody's stuff is released, then is anybody's stuff really released? Like, because everybody's got something that they're like, dude, I don't want, like, if my mom found out about this, that would just crush her, that sort of thing,
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. For example, there was a phishing attempt that was sent my way a long time ago. I actually talked about it on the air, probably about 5-6 years ago. And it made my blood run cold because the phishing attempt was so convincing in the way that it had found an old password of mine and it had told me, listen, we have access to this and that. It made it seem like it had something very, very sexually compromising on me. And it said something like, and what we have is very hot, or whatever. And then it gave me this old password that I wasn't using anymore, but still it made me think. And of course, it was asking for a very specific amount of money at a very specific amount of time. And the only thing that made me feel like, oh no, was the fact that they had mentioned that they were going to get in touch with like family. And I started thinking about my in-laws, stuff like that. And I said, oh man, just the thought, like it makes you simulate a situation like that. And it's so uncomfortable. And this is the world that we're in now. I mean, things can get uncomfortable really quick. And like it was a phishing thing. I did a couple of quick Google searches and everybody was getting the same emails, but old passwords are out there and it makes it sound believable. And now there's other things that go on. I've had a couple of strange phone calls that were trying to fish for easy payoffs and stuff like that by creating either hostage situations or with family or something else. So I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts because whatever you're talking about, a complete opening up the books on everybody. And of course, certain people are of more interest than others in your town or whatever, or in society at large. You compare your mailman. Are people going to want to open up the books on your mailman more than, let's say, Charlie Kirk? So some people are. If that is the case, a lot of people are going to be protected just by the fact that they're low value targets. But there's a lot of chaos that would ensue.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm a mailman, I don't care what some random house thinks of me. I'm still as scared as everybody else that my wife or mom or somebody is going to see something terrible, And if you assume that your phone has the capability to always be recording, even when it tells you that it's not, I've heard those theories before that they're mapping the world with both sides of our cell phones at all times. So now they know what the inside of everywhere looks like too, because they're just mapping stuff. I don't know.
Well, wait a second. I remember, here it is, 2019. Great. Damn ads. It's just ridiculous. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get around this ad from 2019. Ancient history over here, but it was archived. Here we go. I'm sure you remember this. From the mail, Alexa listens to users having sex, and some recordings are listened to by Amazon staff, whistleblower claims. Various sounds set Alexa recording accidentally, including speech, spats, and sex. Amazon staff analyzed 0.2% of all Alexa interactions to improve her performance. Employees reportedly listen to as many as 1,000 user recordings each day. Experts warn users to note that Alexa may be recording them unexpectedly. And I mean, these are just like you can say that it's a glitch, it's a feature, it's a whoopsie moment.
It's probably all of those things. I remember my sister was talking about like moving a relative into and not an old folks home, but like finding an old person like living community sort of thing. And we were just talking about it. And then over the next several weeks, she started getting ads for those things like mailed to her. And I was like, it's probably because we were talking about it that day and Alexa is listening all the time. And she was like, huh, yeah, maybe it was that. Just not fazed by it at all. It's like, well, it's still convenient to tell it to play my music and stuff. That's our trade-off, you know, like we accept that the machines are watching us all the time, but it's convenient. So I don't know. Every new technology I think of the same way I assume like my great whatever grandparents thought of when like books started getting really popular, where they're like, we don't need all these books, you know, you need to just sit around with your friends, talk about things. You don't need to go off into some fantasy world. And so everybody turned out fine. So I think everything's going to be okay no matter what technology we have.
When books started getting popular, that's a good one. Yeah, I know there could have been a lot of problems with those damn meddling books.
But you know, there were probably parents out there that were just like, that damn kid's just in his room reading.
I know.
Like he needs to get outside and do something with his life.
Oh, that's
Those
happened.
books are going to rot your brain.
And then the first comic books that come out, the first funny papers. So, man, he's just reading that brain rot. If they only know what's coming 150 years later, and it's just nuts. Now kids are just doom scrolling on their beds. You know, with the rest of us. Anyway, we'll do that a little bit later because, of course, you and I have to do a real review. But here's the big story for the night.
Uh-oh.
I saw this on News Nation and a few other places. The first ever sperm race, Mike, sperm race, hopes to combat declining male fertility. This is a spot on News Nation that's about 5 minutes long. We only need a little bit of it, but we can stop along the way. Let's take a listen to this, and here we go.
Here's how it works. The two competitors have been training for the event, optimizing their overall health, and they're hoping the competition will plant a seed in a conversation about dropping fertility rates here in the U.S. In the past 50 years, men have seen a 50% decrease in their sperm count, accounting for 30% of all infertility cases, but more than 40% of men are never evaluated when a couple is struggling with infertility. So I'd like to welcome in entrepreneur and co-founder Eric Zhu and Shane Fan. Thank you both for your time today. I have to say, this has absolutely been the talk of our meetings, my team meetings here. Talk about the brainchild for this event.
Yeah, so I came up with this idea actually. So last year I was with a bunch of health people and they were talking about sperm. And I was like, oh, it would be kind of sick to raise sperm. And then after I looked into it more, it was like, what's interesting is that how fast the sperm moves is actually correlated. It's an aggregate biomarker. So the faster your sperm is, the healthier you are. So the earlier you sleep, the better you eat. All correlate to the speed of your sperm, which is kind of like making this health in a competition thing. And I always had this idea in the back of my head. And 3 months ago, kind of how I ended up actually doing it was this billionaire. He ended up flying us out to New York, and he was like, what's like the craziest idea that you have that's not your current company? And I was like, sperm racing. And so I got Nick and I got Shane, who are good friends, and we came into a room and we're like, you know what, let's actually make this happen.
All right, so how is this going to work?
Okay, so right off the bat, thoughts? How creative is this? It's something that we can do to bring attention to a our civilization's biggest biological issue right now, which is declining sperm rates, testosterone, birth rates, everything.
Well, the video that they have just makes me assume that these two dudes are going to get in the boxing ring and then just whack off together with 60,000 cheering fans watching. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. When I think sperm race, though, I think like who can finish whacking off the fastest. But that's not what they mean.
No, it's not. It's not.
Like I won the sperm race, dude.
No. It's a little bit farther down the line, though. I'm sure that the whacking is going to happen at some point. And let's get back to this.
I assume they don't have video of the actual sperm speeding along somewhere. Are they going to make like a little microscopic track with the tape at the end that the sperm runs through?
It's so ridiculous because, you know, you can't totally divorce yourself from thinking about it. That the whole concept, whether it is whether it's really going to bring attention to this or not, or if it is just a kind of, I don't know. Well, my sperm's faster than yours, and then everybody has. But here, let's see how they're going to run the race.
All right. So how is this going to work, Eric?
Well, obviously, we got to whack off in a cup, and then.
So how this works is you get samples from two people. So it could be influencers, it could be celebrities. And what we would do is we would put the samples, we would dilute them, clean the samples, put in a microfluidic, and we use something called rheotaxis, which pushes the current to the sperm, and the sperm would swim through the current to make the sperm swim to the finish line. And it's think about this as like the F1, but for sperm.
So how did you pick your participants for this? And does the winner get?
So they have to push a current of something that what? I wish I could.
I guess it's simulating the inside of a lady. I didn't know that they have a current that's like, no, like stay away, sperm.
Actually, yeah. I mean, it is. There's so much going on inside a woman that actually is there to ensure that only the best of the best of at least that batch gets through. And you know, there's a lot that sperm has to overcome. But
yeah, it's like the strongest salmon or whatever. Exactly. And everybody's like, oh, look at all these dead salmon down here in the river. And it's like, yeah, well, they weren't strong enough.
Exactly. And I wish that she would have asked him about that. Talk a little bit more about this current, but she dropped the ball, the interviewer.
Get a prize because I know people can place bets on which one they think is going to win.
Oh, man.
Yes. So our main event, which is Tristan of USC and Asher of UCLA, do a race, and then the winner will get a grand prize of $10,000.
And yeah, we have also like a lot of prediction markets. I think, there's a lot of casinos that reached out, but kind of I think prediction markets work actually a lot different than casinos, where it's not you against the house, but it's you making betting contracts against other people. So somewhat like the election. I don't know if you guys seen the election prediction market where people were betting millions of dollars on which election was going to win. I think for us, in the last 2 days, we have around $157,000 being bet on these two guys' sperm, which is quite.
Listen, you can bet on anything these days. You can bet on, obviously, as
not the Pope.
No. You could. You probably could. There's probably somebody out there that has had. I don't know if it was like Vegas odds of the over under of when the Pope was going to kick the bucket or something like that. Or if there's some kind of a death pool somewhere, or I don't know, those morbid ones. But with sports, you can do anything. Obviously, you can bet on elections. You can bet on coin tosses. You can bet on things per quarter, per inning, strange little stats. You can bet on what alternate jerseys are going to be worn on a given day or something. I mean, it's
the color of the Gatorade that'll be dumped on the coach. I've seen that kind of stuff. But I saw something the other day that I don't know if it was a statement that Las Vegas put out or like one of those betting apps or whatever, but they were like, because of strict rules or something, betting on the Pope is not allowed. Like, I don't know if that was true or if it was just a meme or something that I saw, But yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, they got a USC kid, they got a kid from UCLA, and
they're given this pisses me off because it's like, hey, you're in shape, you're a good looking dude, and you have the fastest sperm of anybody. You got everything going for you, and we're gonna give you 10 grand on top of that.
Yes.
It's like, why don't you give 10 grand to the guy with the slowest sperm and see if it improves his overall ego and stuff, you know?
See,
maybe that's all the guy needs. He's like, yeah, if I wasn't 9 grand in debt right now, I'd probably have faster sperm. But
exactly, my depression is keeping my sperm down. And if you gave me $10,000, or if you identified the slowest sperm, so that they can win like maybe a week consultation, health consultation, or something that turns their luck around and motivates their sperm. I think that'd be better.
Maybe like all of those things are connected. Like I bet whatever your average heart rate is correlates somehow with like how good your sperm is, you know?
Right.
So like if you're an overall piece of shit, you probably have piece of shit sperm as well. Like I just imagine my sperm just like sitting in a recliner and being like, dude, I'll get there when I get there. Like there's no rush. And then by the time they're ready to go, then the vagina is gone.
The vagina has just left the picture. Let's see if there's anything else here at the end. It's almost over this video. Let's see.
Interesting.
It really is. I mean, and looking at the marketing for this, I mean, it really is genius. Okay, people will bet on almost anything. Obviously, this kind of proves it, but there really is a bigger goal here moving forward. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, fertility has declined in the last 50 years, and it's still declining. There's this dystopian future that people won't be able to make babies. And the reason for that is because sperm has always been considered a very taboo concept, right? Where the only thing that when people say sperm, you're associating this directly to adult entertainment. And it shouldn't really be that, because sperm is such an important biomarker. And people should actually talk about it more as a biomarker sense versus an actual taboo thing. So we're trying to change the paradigm of sperm with this event, making it more mainstream, and also changing what people think about sperm as more of like a degenerate thing. Like one of the things that we made sure to is basically not have any adult entertainers inside the venue, right? Or like have any of them associated.
Okay, I'm behind this. I think that again, that's really cool. I mean, the pornographic aspect of all this stuff, it definitely takes away from, we're talking about when we talk about
science.
Science, and also everybody uses the word existential threat a lot these days. What's going on with fertility rates, and we're talking about real biological marker. There's something, the species is going through a downtrending transition. On a biological sense, it needs to be weeded out. It needs to be meted out, because obviously this is an environmental thing. There might be some cultural things going on there, but there are environmental reasons why this is happening. And if we want to survive, it's got to be worked out. So obviously this is, I get it. It's going to make us all giggle in a juvenile way, like it always has, but I actually really appreciate these kids getting together and not letting any whiff of adult entertainment world coming into it, and really, making an event out of it. It's entertaining, obviously, but I at least tip my cap to them for that.
Yeah, hey, I mean, they thought of a thing and they're doing it. Good for them.
Absolutely. Okay, so that it seems like that's going to happen on the 25th. We'll see who sperm wins, and as you said,
is it a live event? Is it pay-per-view?
It would have to be. Hold on.
And a lot of it's just focused on biomarkers, even in a funny way. For example, we're giving these racers $1,000, $2,000 every single week to basically optimize their biomarkers and make sure they're healthy and film their whole entire process. And actually, all our racers, I think one of the things that they said was like, oh, they feel so much better than 3 weeks ago, because they were really optimizing their health and making their health a lot better, and also kind of biohacking, right, to a certain extent, to perform better.
Well, as long as these protocols that they're giving the racers are, made public, That's a great thing. That's a great thing as well. We talk a lot about healthy testosterone support just through health, nutrition, all that stuff on this show. And if this is going to capture the attention of, bigger male college audiences, then yeah, I mean, optimize all of the contestants, no doubt, but make those protocols public. I hope they do that.
Better at the sperm race.
We only have about 30 seconds left. I mean, truly, this really does seem genius. Is this the first of many, Eric? I mean, is sperm racing going to potentially be a new sport?
Yeah, I mean, we see in 4 years, this could be the Olympics. So our goal is, we had a race before that went really well, and now we're kind of putting this out there. Our race is tomorrow, April 25th, UCLA versus USC at Center Studios. And, after this, I think we might have massive celebrities. Nick Cannon could be one of them. I think that's pretty requested recently. And then who knows, it could be in the 2028 Olympics one day.
It absolutely possibly could be. Who knows? Really, very genius.
Okay, well, there you go.
I think that would be cool if they did like a sperm version of The Biggest Loser, and like you get like 10 dudes. You start out the beginning of the first episode, everybody whacks off into a cup, you race their sperm, and then over the course of the next 8 weeks, you teach these guys what makes their sperm faster or more numerous or whatever. And then every week you kick the guy off who has like the worst improvement, and you get to see the guy that goes from lazy sperm to world record setting sperm.
Yes.
I'd watch that show.
Hey, you know what? And as far as the quip about it being an Olympic sport, why not? They just did that. They had that breakdancing fiasco, something else. Why the hell not? And listen to this. I went and I dug into a TMZ article on this because there was some trash talk. It has to, whether it's in good fun or if it's actually some real athletic trash talk. Listen to this from TMZ. Tristan, one of the competitors versus Asher, another one of the competitors, the college kids. Tristan says his medicals show he's got way more testosterone than Asher. He's predicting his high T will get his sperm across the finish line first, though Asher's not backing down and is firing back with a strong rebuttal. Friday's race today is expected to draw over 1,000 people. See, again, they didn't go into what the sport is going to be like, what they're going to do, how is it going to translate into some kind of an optical experience? Like, is it going to be under microscopes, and how are you going to track this thing? Is it like, I don't know. The race is expected to draw over 1,000 people, and there will be a synchronized start before Tristan and Asher's sperm race through a track that mimics the female reproductive system, complete with chemical cues and fluid dynamics. That they said a little bit out over there, but I'm gonna have to go and find more information on this now that it's Friday, and it should be all said and done by now. But I don't know.
I'm imagining it as like, have you seen that during baseball games or something where they'll take a bunch of babies and like put them in the middle of the field and make them race?
Yes. And
I think so the sperm is like, yeah, I'm the fastest, but it's not going the way that you're like, go. It's just hanging out in one little spot, swimming in circles. You're like, you're the fastest baby. Just crawl towards your mother.
Dude, okay, so listen, here's what we're going to have to do. And I want to try, I don't know if anybody out there has any ideas, but I have a new hotline that I'm going to open up tonight. I know, everybody. Frank's got another hotline? Yes. So I gave you another hotline last week. It was an 888 number. This is a new one. 888-602-6090. Okay? So here is 888-602-6090. I got this because I realized there was going to be a production issue with me routing the new hotline that was there to replace Skype into a show like tonight. And I got this hotline number, and I had to set up a totally different account, an account that I can run from another device over here on my my computer. And I would love to see if I can get you guys involved with this, calling in. Now, here's what you can do on this hotline, just for anybody out there that wants to help us test out the new number itself. If you have a pitch, call in and pitch us with a concept for a new sport or athletic competition. Okay? Anything. Think about what we just listened to with the sperm. I don't know. If we get any calls, if we just get one, that would be nice, because then I could say, okay, we have successfully tested the new phone line and the new system for, calling in and actually talking with guests. You guys can call in and talk to me and Mike at the same time. So think about a concept for a new sport or athletic competition with what you just heard as some inspiration, and that's what we have there. Okay. Let's see.
Do you want my brainstorm of the first thing that I think of when you say that?
Yes.
Pooping contest.
In what way?
Whatever the judges decide. Length, weight, I don't know, speed. Like who can get their pants down, poop, and be done the fastest.
It would probably have to be something along the lines of how fishing competitions are done. It would have to be. Hold on, I got a call here. Let me see if this works. 1 second. Okay, caller, are you there?
Hi, Frank.
Oh, hold on a second. I've got a. This is not good. Okay, go ahead. You're on the air. Who is this?
This is Amy. Frank, how are you?
Oh, it's so good to hear you, Amy. So, listen, do you have an idea for a competition?
I do, and I think it's funny because Mike was on the show the night that I won the Trump coin doing the Bigfoot dumbass stuff. But I like his idea of the Biggest Loser, but I think there should be like an unvaccinated and vaccinated versus vax and unvax sperm wars, and you could call it like Sperminator.
Ooh.
And you could like have a high-powered microscope and have them duel to the death, and just watch the vaccinated sperm just wipe out, or vice versa.
That's the only thing. The only thing there is that's an interesting concept. If it was going to be animated, if we had a cartoonist that would come in and help us bring that concept to life, because the nature of sperm is not to attack the other sperm. They're just trying to get their job done, and sometimes it just usually happens that they don't make it to the goal line and somebody else does, and that's how you get a winner. If they had some kind of a cannibalistic
okay, you could put like a female egg in the middle of it and like have them race and the first ones to it, and see if with all the DNA altering stuff they've done, how do we know that sperm don't fight each other? You don't think your guys are in there going, get out of the way, mine?
I think they know.
Okay, your phone.
Maybe, I don't know.
I was just testing your phone line.
No, it's a great call. And you know what? Perhaps the new generation of sperm creators, those who have been thrice vaxxed and all that other stuff, maybe the sperm have, developed very sharp teeth, talons, something like that. Perhaps there is something else going on there that we don't know.
That's like the Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah.
I just like the name Sperminator.
Well, thank you for the call, Amy. This was a great test.
Now, your phone works. You guys have a great night. Mike, you're funny as hell.
Oh, thank you, Amy.
You make me laugh, buddy. You guys have a good one.
You too. Take care. Well, there you go. That worked. And while she was...
and I could hear everything, and she could hear me, so nice.
We'll try one more. This is from Gary. What's going on, Gary? Gary.
Hello?
Yeah.
Is this Frank?
Yeah, go ahead, Gary, and take us off a speakerphone.
Yeah, I was silent for a little bit, so I was confused. But hey, at least we're doing test number 2.
Test number 2, and you're on with Mike.
Hi, Mike. How you doing? Glad to see you on Fridays. Dude, you're a great guest for Friday.
Hey, thanks. All right.
I appreciate that. So, as far as the contest, now this might hit the women in the wrong way, but, trimming your fingernails is hard. Everybody can do it. If you're right-handed, you can trim, like your left hand fingernails easy, but then all of a sudden you got to use your left hand to trim your other fingernails. So you could kind of come up with one way to do it. You could judge as the, the pitch is right. You don't get a little pointy part, something like that. So I think that would be kind of fun.
I think that'd be good
and challenging.
Okay, so then that obviously a fingernail clipping competition, that kind of event would be not only speed but also cleanliness. No rough edges.
Correct.
Okay, I'm with you. Actually, that would be really good. That'd be good.
I mean, I'd watch
the other thing I wanted to bring up,
if you could watch curling.
Well, it wouldn't have to be on OnlyFans. I was considering this whole sperm race thing. It's like, consider like horse racing, where, people can go and they can watch, the horses come out of the stables. And, are they, what's the weather like? Are they a good mudder? I mean, of course, we don't want to get into mudders for sperm racing, but, would it be the kind of same thing? It's like, well, okay, tune in on OnlyFans. You can see this. Are they turgid? Are they, is it throbbing? Do they do like a nice nut skate so you can get an idea
I don't know
of who's competing in the sperm races?
Well, it
would get horrible.
It would be interesting, and thank you for the call, Gary. It would be interesting if there was.
Well, I got one other thing quick, too, if you'll let me, Frank.
Very quickly, go ahead.
You were talking about old school gaming. You need to look into retro pies. You can get like a Raspberry Pi. You can download an image, and all of a sudden you can play all the old games like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Zelda, all that stuff. And there's ways to get images that you can drop on this little thing that looks like a computer, but you can plug it into your TV and plug in controllers to it, and it's so much fun. Look into Retro Pi.
Okay,
Frank, I guarantee you it'll change your life.
Well, I feel like I've been given several things like that over the years, and it's been extensive. Like there were hundreds of games from Mike Tyson's Knockout to the early Tetris and all types.
You can do them all.
Yeah, I remember people were giving me keys and decryption keys for things like that back at least 10 15 years ago.
That.
Well,
you have like this little box that's like 6 inches by 6 inches, not even. And it's got the ports you need to plug into your TV or whatever, or a couple of old school game controllers. You can do all of it. And, maybe I'll start a thread on your Quite Frankly TV.forums.
Hey, that could be it. People might like that. And because, like I said,
there's places where you have images and you just download it and then you drop it on an SD card and you can plug it into the deal and just add it to your little mini computer thing here. And it's powerful.
Gotcha.
It's fun. And I think you would love it.
Well, thank you so much for the suggestion, Gary, and set up a thread. I'm sure a lot of old school, old time, gamers from back in the day would love to see some of the classics that are available for free. And like I said, I've had access. I don't know, Mike, if you've had any access to those things over the years, but that was given to me at least a couple of times in a few different forms 10, 12, 14 years ago. So yeah. I have to imagine there's a lot bigger collections available now.
Yeah, I think the one you can that's like anything else. You can get a really good version of those, or you can get a really shitty version, and it just depends on where you get it. And I don't know any of them, but I've had like an Atari one before where it was you just plug the controller directly into the TV, and all of the games are within the controller itself. And it had all the old Pong and Pac-Man and that kind of shit, but. I don't know. I've kind of that to me. That's like on the same lines as like pirating music and stuff. And so, like, I like Nintendo. I want to support Nintendo financially instead of stealing from them. But I'll illegally download PlayStation shit because I don't care about them.
Yeah, not to hell with them, right? Actually, that's what I play on most. Whenever I do sit down and play anything, it's PlayStation. That's just the way it is for me. But all right, so here's what we're going to do. Thank you for the tests, everybody, and we got a few good ones there. And I think the system that we have right here is even smoother than what we had with Skype. And I was able to mute all of the calls and then finally the call waiting there too. So that all worked out.
What happened to Skype? It was like the thing, and then COVID happened, and everybody started talking about Zoom. And I don't know, like, were they prepared? Was Zoom like, we've got to really build up this ability before this pandemic hits? You know,
you know what? It's a great point. It really is a great point because
those are the only kind I make.
I remember a lot of the morning television shows that my mom would watch. If I ever dropped by on her when she was just, in the morning sitting down watching a little TV, one show or another that she watched, all these morning shows over the course of years, they would pipe in guests from all over the place, and you always see the Skype watermark at the bottom. They were doing like some really official media stuff. They were bridging the gap for a lot of media organizations to bring guests in and do stuff like that. And it was bought for billions of dollars, and it just I don't know, it just tanked. It tanked with Microsoft.
Maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe it's like what you hear happening with like Red Lobster and that kind of stuff, where they all got bought out by like one big company, and then that company figures out like it'll make us the most money if we just drive these businesses into the ground. I don't know what the reasoning is, but
well, the history,
anyway, it doesn't matter.
The history has been written. Skype is gone as of this month, and now all that is left is Zoom and a few other things. Of course, there's Discord, voice chats, a whole bunch of other stuff. But for me, I like things that allow you to establish a phone number that people can call directly without an access code, so they can call in from a I don't know, a drive in their car and not need to know certain codes or special passwords and stuff. So Either way, we figured it out, and thank you for being a part of the test. Okay, on to our real review. So we're ending tonight with another review. Up front, these are things that Mike and I have set aside over the course of the last couple of weeks. And last time, Mike, we were together, we were talking about this awesome brand of music meme that takes a clip of a song, a very obscure lyric from a song that answers a very strangely obscure but specific statement. For example, this is one that you put out recently. I'm very proud.
Are you showing the one I made? Yeah, I yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Mike, he did his own over here. Let me take. Where is Mike? And I'm gonna boom and bring him over here. Good. All right. So this is Mike's first one of these, and the statement is: when you're 72 inches tall and you want to snuggle. So here it is. It's he pulled up some Creed. 72 inches tall, want to snuggle. And that's it. I'm 6 feet. Hold me. I'm 6 feet.
I should have worded it differently, but yeah, because he's proud of the fact that he's 6 feet. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. How tall are you, Mike?
I'm like 5'10".
Okay. 5'10".
How tall are you?
About a little bit over 5'11", but I never hit 6 feet.
Okay. I imagined you shorter.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Not much shorter. I figured you'd be about my height or slightly under. Maybe it's just because you're in a chair all the time.
Perhaps. Very few people have seen me standing up. So
yeah, that'd be weird.
That'd be very weird. That's why I don't want to be seen anymore. Here you go. Now this one was fantastic. A little Phil Collins. The question is, why do you always call people man or buddy instead of calling them by name? Phil Collins comes in, lets you know. Because I don't remember.
I can't hear him.
You don't hear it?
No, but what song was it? I can see it.
What is that? I don't know that. What the hell is it called? What is that?
What does he say?
Because I don't remember. What the hell's the full song? I'm not a big Phil Collins fan.
Take me home.
Is that it?
I think so.
Again, one more time. So you didn't hear it at all?
No. I hear like a garbledness, but I can't hear. I don't know why the hell it does this. I was excited too because the phone call was crystal clear, and now Instagram. I don't know if it's just Instagram or what the problem is.
What about this time? You don't hear that?
No.
Oh,
now that I know what it is, I can visualize it by looking at it. But
you can enjoy it. Well, here's the next one up. Here is this is an Easter music meme. And the first one is Peter, the apostle, starts denying Jesus, and then Jesus right afterwards. Yeah, here come the rooster. Alice in Chains. That's a good one. I feel
the first when you sent me that, see there where it says someone explain ? That's the very first thing that I clicked on. I was like, I don't get it.
Before the cock crows.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, well that's it. Well, it's too bad for people who get the joke. I think it was perfectly set up. Now, here's the thing, Mike. I feel bad that we have maybe 6 or 7 more and you're not going to hear any of them.
But I know what they all are because we've sent them to each other all week. So I'll appreciate knowing that all of your viewers are appreciating it.
Okay, well then here is this one I love. This is a reporter doing a spot about public transit in Cleveland. I think back in the 1980s or something like that. And he gets trolled by a couple of very clever local kids. And I think it's fantastic. Take a listen to this. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Suddenly tell thousands of Cleveland school children to ride to school on public transportation. There's only one thing you can expect: confusion.
Confusion. Now he tries it now. So he
I heard that. I think it's just music that it doesn't let me hear, and I don't understand why. But
okay, well then good. Then we're on the same page. So here's the thing. For everybody out there, he just did a first take. He wants to do another take, but now all of the kids that are around him waiting for their buses know what his big punchline is going to be: confusion. And they go, and you'll see, they ruin his moment in take 2, and this is where it really gets fun.
When you suddenly tell thousands of Cleveland school children to ride public transportation, there's only one thing you can expect: confusion. Come on, why don't you get on the bus, okay?
That ain't our bus.
That's the best thing. Why don't you get on the bus? That ain't our bus. So they're not confused. They know the bus schedule just fine. It's the whole thing about this is great. Let's watch it one more time.
Suddenly tell thousands of Cleveland school children to ride to school on public transportation. There's only one thing you can expect: confusion. Confusion. When you suddenly tell thousands of Cleveland school children to ride public transportation, there's only one thing you can expect: confusion. Come on, why don't you get on the bus, okay? That ain't our bus.
Oh man, that ain't our bus. I love that last one there. All right. Okay, next one. This is something incredible. Okay. First of all, we have the JD Vance, chubby baby face Vance. This meme is my favorite. There's just something about the energy that beams out of the big fluffy cheeks, the man baby cheeks.
Is this another thing with JD Vance's face on it, or is this did they make the whole?
This entire thing is AI generated, but
Okay.
it is so smooth. Somebody even says, "Why is the AI so clean?" This is real footage. This is not even AI anymore. So you have this thing here, for those of you who are not watching, where JD Vance approaches Pope Francis, because of course he was one of the last people to see the Pope before he died. You have JD Vance approaching Pope Francis. He's got this chubby baby face kind of thing, which can go from devious to just kind of unassuming and, I don't know, disarming. But now it's not, because he's dressed in some sort of a Hellraiser meets Doom, Angel of Death kind of a figure.
Yeah, and what's on his belly? Are those like tubes coming out? Are those supposed to be nipples or?
It looks like hooks. I'm telling you, it has almost like a Hellraiser kind of appeal to it, where he's got, you know how Pinhead is dressed in head to toe in leather, and there's always like D-links and stuff like that. Anyway, here he is, very menacingly, like the angel of death himself, coming face to face with Pope Francis, who's looking up like, oh my gosh, is this the end? Hold on a second. It almost looks like a wrestling promo.
It's like a cabbage patch.
It's too much.
It's equally like funny because I know it's JD Vance, but then it's also just kind of creepy, you know?
It's very creepy. Somebody said in the comments, future history books are going to be so funny, they're legit going to think JD Vance really looked like this and that he assassinated the Pope.
I wonder, that'd be cool if all these AI images and videos were actually just like somebody figured out the multiverse, and it's like real life video from a version of the universe where JD Vance really looks like that and really did walk around and taunt the Pope that way.
Really?
I don't know. Wouldn't that be weird?
It really absolutely would. It would be. And I think that the future reality is going to be a little bit more weird than we think. Here's another one that this just goes, it's funny, it's topical, but it's also very clever as far as social commentary goes. Here it is. The caption is runners, people who run, long distance runners, all that stuff before social media. All right. So here's what runners, what they did before social media, just walking up to somebody's door, knocking on the door, and this is what you see on the other side.
You're right. Just been running. Yeah, just now. 6 kilometers, 32 minutes, 34 seconds. Yeah. Max heart rate 162, average heart rate 140. Yeah. Incline 0.1%. Incline. Yeah. First 2 kilometers the fastest. Slowed down for the middle one, then picked up again for the next few. Sorry, why are you telling me this? Just letting everybody know. Just going round everybody I know. Just like everyone, friends, people I used to go to school with, ex-work colleagues. Just getting around everybody, letting everyone know. Here, mate, take this as well. Take this. It's just marked on the map. The route I did. If you need to have a look at it. So, yeah. All right, mate. Do you like it? Do you like what I've done? The run this morning, how do you feel about it? Would you say you love it? Okay, all right, yeah, see you in a bit.
Man, what do you think about that? I think it's very profound.
That's quality social commentary right there. And I've totally been that guy who shared my couch to 5K run with my little map, of me running around. I've always thought it was cool when people would run, purposely run out words or draw an image or something with the route that they ran. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's somebody in the comments said the real question is, would you still run at 6 a.m. if you couldn't post it?
Well, of course. I mean, before all of this existed, that's when I was in good shape. That's when I ran just because it felt good, But it was right at the end of that when the internet started being involved. And I was like, people need to know that I've done this.
They have to know this was me. There's a little bit more on social commentary part. I think this is from an episode of Soft White Underbelly. It's a guy who's talking about men and women, mental and emotional age. And I thought I thought it was really interesting stuff because it's across the board. He's talking about men and women. He starts talking about young girls growing up and being around older men and all that stuff, and having those relationships that help kind of hone them emotionally for the real world. But then he just broadens out, talk about the kind of crisis that we have across the board. Take a listen to this. I gotta get a little bit more information on who he is. I'm gonna go dig up the episode so I can share it later on. But here you go.
Not all beautiful women are nuts, but those women tend to have very strong male figures in their life. Fathers and brothers who were able to tell the woman the truth and bear her hatred, bear her insults and her criticism and her emotional outbursts because it was the kind of like the right thing to do, not just from the perspective of some vague virtue, but for her, it's the best thing to do because now she can become like a full emotional adult.
Those are rare.
It's rare for men and women. It's true. It's like chronological age has absolutely nothing to do with emotional or psychological age. And most of the people who are walking around, despite what their driver's license says, are probably between 8 and 12 years old. But if you accept that that might be true, the rest of society starts to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You certainly can't begin with the assumption that people are just virtuous and mature. Why would the world look the way that it does? If you go the other way around, a lot of things make sense.
Hey, you know what? This, Mike, this is something that I have used as a way of explaining pop political situations. Like whenever we do current event nights and it's just about the headlines of the day, things that you know are not going to last weeks or months or whatever the hell it is, but you just want to talk about and analyze whatever food fight is happening in the public eye at the moment, what really all stems by. And I always, over the years, I have brought back the whole idea of playground politics and what happens, how people conduct themselves, even at early ages when they are hanging out on playgrounds and who wants to get in with one group, those types of people that manipulate groups to make sure that there's nobody's getting too close to each other. There's always a little bit of a chip on somebody's shoulder. Just little things, there's good relationships. There are manipulative ones. There's all that stuff. Understanding how a playground works is really understanding the rest of us. It's just children watching children. And I think that is most people are mentally and emotionally 8 to 12 years old. It does explain the world in a great way, and also very scary to think about the resources, the weaponry, the ability to marshal very, very, to have a monopoly on authority and to put all of that into the hands of a bunch of 8 and 12-year-olds. It makes waking up in the morning a little bit more freaky.
It's interesting to think about because I see it with comedy audiences a lot where, like, some of my best jokes are just about like wieners and butts and stuff like that, like stuff that like 6th or 7th grade me and my friends would joke about. Like that's the stuff that works the most in comedy is just, I mean, it's like I'm 43 years old and watching a good fart video still makes me laugh my ass off,
Yeah. I get you.
To me, the fear is that they, how do I word this? Like they're gonna try to do the same thing that they were doing with the trans stuff, which is like, hey, look, man, we're all 8 to 12 psychologically anyway. So what's so wrong about me marrying this 9-year-old?
Oh, yeah.
We're on equal levels intellectually. So why are you mad at me?
Yes. I can absolutely. And you know what? There are people who have already sadly made that argument. They've already made that argument. And
well, I mean, those people were us 200 years ago, or maybe longer than that, but like there was a time where it was like, oh, she got her first period. She's ready to be married off, and we're going to get some horses out of the deal. Like, it was only recently that we as like society were like, let's wait on this.
there's a lot of people who would take advantage of these otherwise very level-headed and illuminating bits of commentary, and also people who are able to make these observations from professional standpoints. If they're psychologists, psychiatrists, people who are, and I even that comes with disclaimers there too, and subcategories, because there's a lot of, psychiatry and sociology and all that. It's very political in that respect there too, and I think the kind of society we're in would actually prefer that more people are operating under the temperament and the logical consistency of an 8 to 12-year-old, because then we get the types of elections that we have, the types of debates that we have, where society is right now as just far as identity goes, all types of identity issues. So yeah, it's one thing where if you are, maybe you can acknowledge that as being, that's spot on. And then, I don't know, I think people who starts taking those otherwise very wise takes on what's going on around us and perverting it into permission slips for doing something egregious, I just think that we need to start getting to the point where they just are removed from society.
I mean, I've said this for the last year or so. I don't know why we as Americans aren't chopping dicks off. Like, that would solve the problem. You take a child, you find a child molester, you chop his dick off. And then the next child molester goes, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to molest anymore, because I'd kind of like to, like, we talk about how barbaric some of these like Middle Eastern countries are, but I forget who it was, but somebody was telling a story about how they had like their wallet and their phone, and they just set it on top of their car, and then they went and had lunch or whatever, and came back a few hours later, and it was still there in whatever Middle Eastern country they were talking about, because they know if you steal there, they're going to chop your hand off. So nobody steals.
Well, and where we are right now in society is people are very comfortable voicing what years ago, and we're not even talking about that long a time. I mean, if you just think about what's happened to the West since World War II, how thousands of years, a couple thousand years of the Western dominance and culture that has been able to withstand onslaught, all types of onslaughts from the outside world. And just in the last 80 years, we've been picked apart. And you think about what has been allowed to become mainstream, what thoughts can be expressed, and because society is so split in very fundamental ways, there's not enough outrage to snuff out these very concerning fires anymore. And I mean the types of things that people talk about as far as relationships, as far as civics. When we opened up the show tonight, I'm talking about those judges that were helping illegal immigrants evade immigration forces. Yeah. And this is something here where I'm just, when we talk about police, for example, said we got to start chopping dicks. Probable cause is a very important thing to understand when you start learning about your rights, and also the ability of a police officer or any kind of law enforcement officer to go and assert some authority in looking into something. That reasonable belief based on facts, circumstances, that a crime has been committed. If you hear blood-curdling screams from inside of a house, or anything else, a firearm that has been discharged, whatever the hell it is, that right there is probable cause. And you would think that with all of the things, the crazy things that we see being said and expressed in public comfortably every day at this point, is this not probable cause? When people go out there and talk about how pedophilia is an actual, it's an identity. So when people make very strange, neutral to lukewarm references to anything that we would consider outright child abuse, crime against humanity, I'm like, That's probable cause. I want to see what's on this person's computer. I see so much of this shit as probable cause. And
yeah, it's like saying, it's like threatening to assassinate somebody or whatever. They're like, dude, you can't say that. So now we're going to come arrest you and look through all your shit. It's the same as that. Like, look, I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying like that this is what I'm attracted to. It's like, that's all you got to say. Come with us, please.
I don't know. And I understand that people can say things that are just very out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all it's all nuanced or whatever the word is, you know, like you can't, there's obviously there's got to be rules, and you know, there's going to be a guy that's like, dude, I was joking, or I was like making fun of the other people that think that way. Like, don't chop my dick off. Like in my fantasy world of dicks getting chopped off, we're only chopping off like violent offenders who were like caught on video or confessed or something like that. We're not just grabbing a guy off the street and being like, you looked at my daughter weird.
Right.
Like, none of that stuff.
Yes.
But then go ahead.
No, but of course, if a guy, if somebody was taking strangely taking a picture of your daughter.
Oh God, that reminds me. Have you seen that video of there's like a dude sitting on the couch and his girlfriend is sitting on the other end of the couch and she has her feet up on his lap, and then there's a guy in a chair near them and they're all watching TV or whatever, and it's dark in the room, and the dude takes a picture of the girl's feet, but the flash lights up.
Oh,
and so he gets busted immediately, and she's like, "What are you taking pictures of my feet?" And the guy's like, oh man, that's so cringy."
No, it is, and then again, you want to talk about nuance? There is disgusting. I don't see, because it comes. The pendulum always swings back for you. So the question is, what is just an opinion? And then what is real predicate evidence that there could be something criminal going on there? I think that I don't know. I think this is a whole can of worms here, and I'm gonna have to map this one out. Gonna have to map this one out with you. Let's do a couple more. We have 3 more left. This one is nice. It's a prank compilation of these guys. Ayuruk, is that the guy's name? Rolls up to random guys, and I think he rolls up to random guys and just, I don't know, drops some strange sounds on them, and it always ends in the same way. And I think,
are these strangers, or do you think that he knows these people?
No, these are strangers.
Okay,
these are strangers. I think they probably think that they're going to be asked for directions or something, and then they just realize that this is the goofiest interaction they've ever had in their life. Take a listen to this.
Excuse me.
Huh? What?
This is how I would react, by the way. Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry, quick question, bro. I'm looking for the hookie cookie.
What?
The hookie cookie.
The hokey pokey?
No. the hookie cookie. Excuse me, brother. A quick question, man. You know I can get the
what?
Huh? Hold on. What? Hey, excuse me, brother. Hey, cool question, man. I'm looking for the
what?
Excuse me. You know I get
what?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Hey, quick question, man. I'm looking for the hoy.
The huh?
The hoy.
The hoy?
Yeah, the hoy.
No.
like the hoy. Hey, yo, Rook. Hey, boss. Excuse me. Hey, can I get a hello? What?
I'm sorry, man. That makes me feel good. When there's a couple of compilations like that, and they always make me feel good.
That's like right on the line of the kind of stuff that makes me uncomfortable, but it's okay because it all works out and it's nice, you know. But I assume that they're not showing the ones where the guy's like, "What in the hell are you talking about? Like, what's wrong with you?
Don't fuck with me." You know.
And I don't. Is he holding his own phone up to record himself, or is there somebody in the passenger seat holding up the phone? I feel like that would be more disarming if I saw a friend in the passenger seat also recording. I'd be like, all right, this guy's doing something fun here, you know? It's not just because I wouldn't walk up to a car if a guy was like, excuse me. I would just walk away, you know?
Well, if they're holding it like if it was mounted in some way, I think I might be less suspicious if it's just a guy being goofy with a mounted camera. Because off the bat, I would say, okay, he's creating content, as opposed to he has a partner with him, and it's 2-on-1, and they're giving this whole exchange.
Yeah, see, that's why it makes me uncomfortable, because it's like, yeah, it worked out these 5 times. What other terrible things have happened? I don't know.
Okay,
but it's fine.
Well, this is one of the last ones. I have 2 more left. This one is, I guess, a videographer who has been hired to cover a wedding.
Oh, God.
And at the moment where you want
the most important
moment, they are saying that they completed their vows, they're about to kiss each other, and the union has been cemented. He makes a little bit of mistake, and he turns the camera around on himself. And there's something about this that is, I love it. And if it were my wedding, I would actually be okay with it. Take a watch of this one.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
He freaks out. He turns it around. Oh no! I'm not even on the screen.
I was gonna say I don't see it, but
shit. Hold on. He freaks out. Wait a second. I'm sorry. Here we go.
We're just watching something that none of us can see.
I was watching over here. I didn't even see myself until I went into the second. There we go.
Husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
He freaks himself out.
I now pronounce
one more time.
Husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Whoops. First of all, he kind of has like a Munster, like he's like a member of the Munster family. He kind of has like, I don't know. He looks pale, but almost like dark bags under his eyes. It almost looks like he has, you know how Elliot looked like in E.T. the day after they went trick-or-treating?
Mm-hmm.
When he's just, he's down by the ravine, but a lot of his makeup has come off. He reminds me of that in E.T. Some of the comments really reflect what I think. Here's one. There's billions of wedding videos forgotten about because they went smoothly. The amount of times I have seen this couple's wedding video because this dude immortalized it is crazy. And it's true. If this were my wedding video, I would be so happy about this strange, kooky moment.
Well, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Is it multiple angles? Play it again. The first angle is from the left side of the room, and it looks like this guy's on the right side of the room. So I feel like there is a video of them actually kissing, and this guy did this later just to be funny. See, we're
Yes.
to the left of the bride here.
Okay, let's pay attention. I think you're right there.
Husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Now he's okay. Wait. You know what?
Wait, no, because the bride looks like it's still.
Wait, is it mirrored?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. The bride was. We have to see. It was the bride on the left side the first time around. Hold on. Yep. It's no. It switched around at that point. See, she's on the left side of the room right now.
Yeah. Look at the bridesmaids and stuff too. Everybody switches, so I guess it is mirrored.
Yep. Okay, hold on. So he freaks out, and now the bride's. Yeah, and now all the ladies are on the right side of the room. So yes, it was the only camera angle.
Okay, well that does make it funnier.
Okay. Well, here's the last one for you. This is an oldie, but it's a goodie. Let's see here. WAGA TV, Atlanta, Georgia, from years back. Guy gets on to talk about another local who died, and he can't get it right. And take a look at this. Frank Sinkowitz, the 1942 Heisman Trophy winner. He died at 70 years old, but this guy can't stop saying something else. Here we go. Wait a second. Boom, boom, and away we have it.
Frank Sinkowitz, the 1942 Heisman Trophy winner from Georgia, died early today at his Athens home. He was 70 degrees. Sinkowitz.
So he was 70 degrees. Okay. And then here we have it.
He's the first Georgia Bulldog ever.
He was sent out now to make a correction.
And a correction, Frank Sinkowitz, who died early today at his home in Athens, was 70 degrees.
So there you have it. He just couldn't get away from that. There you have it. I don't know, Mike. Nice way to end the week. I'm glad we were able to do this. What's on your mind? What do you got going on for the new week coming up? And yeah, let us know what's going on with Mike Baldwin.
Jack shit. I'm hopefully gonna pre-order Nintendo Switch 2. And then what do I got? I'm doing a show at a tattoo place called I think it's Avenue something or other, but inside the place is called Comedy Avenue, and that's in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I'll be there on May 4th doing a show, so that should be fun. And then I got some other stuff coming up in the future. I don't know really. I'm off until then, so the world is my oyster. I need to vacuum. I tried. I saw a video on X of this guy that was like, "This is the best bean recipe," and I did all the stuff that he did in the video, and I made beans, and they tasted like shit, and I threw them away. So I tried making. I was like, I'm gonna make a video of me making this wonderful bean recipe, and then they just ended up being shitty.
That's what happened to me on Super Bowl Sunday. Not bean recipe though, but Lauren and I we found this really interesting recipe of almost like a it was an onion bread. There was like a batter that you can make. It was almost like making you know the bloomin' onions from Outback Steakhouse? Well,
we used to sell those at Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon, where I had my first waiter job.
Well, that's what this was supposed to be like. It was almost supposed to be like an onion flatbread. And the people who made it on this Instagram reel made it looked it was so crunchy, so zesty looking. And I was like, I'm going to make this. It only had like 5 ingredients. I'm going to make this for Super Bowl Sunday. And I did everything they asked. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to do a smaller batch or something like that. But it just was so disappointing. It was not crunchy. It was just, I was so mad. I was very, very mad. I wanted what the people in the reel were eating, and I didn't get anywhere close to it.
Yeah, it was like cook the beans and then put in a whole onion, a whole tomato, and a whole potato, and like cook them for an hour or whatever till everything gets soft. And then you take those 3 things and you put them in the blender, and it makes like a sauce, a zesty sauce that then you pour back into the beans, and everything tastes great. And it just, I don't know, man. It was just weird. I was like, and I like beans. I make beans all the time. Throw like a pack of bacon in or like a ham hock or something, and that seasons it up nicely. And this just tasted like beans that would be served to me at like a vegan restaurant or something, where I'm like, I don't know, it just doesn't have the, what is that called? Like umami or something, that like meat taste that I require.
Or like prison food or something like that.
Right.
Something you got to throw together quick to make sure that the inmates just don't die. Anyway, well, Mike, have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. I look forward to having you on again for a Friday in the future, and all the best to you, my friend.
I can't wait. Thanks again for having me on, Frank. Go to mikeisfunny.com to find all my shit, and we'll see y'all on the next time.
That's it. mikeisfunny.com. Take care, Mike. There you go. All right. So now he's going to go redecorate his tree. And that is where I am going to just do your super chats and take your calls. 914-200-0269. Give me a buzz. And as I said last night in lieu of an intermission, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you want behind-the-scenes glimpses into the nightly production, access to special content, and everything else, the culture clubs, consider becoming a monthly sponsor on Patreon, Subscribe Star, or directly through quitefrankly.tv. You can find it on quitefrankly.tv/sponsor. All of your options are right there. Very fun menu of options there. And yeah, we're sending out a lot of coffee and keto brains and other things for people who sign up this month, all throughout May as well. Might as well expand it. It's Lauren's birthday on Tuesday, and then May is kind of like wedding anniversary month. So I'm feeling festive, and the weather's changing for the better, and everything feels pretty damn good. Pretty good. But 914-200-0269, Jay Semo over on Rumble says, Sperm Racing, great finish to the great week. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Jay. Jay Britz says, great Friday show with Mike Baldwin. Thank you, Frank. Stostube says, great Friday, Frank and Franklies. Over on YouTube, Steve Ellis, representing the entirety of the audience over there, says, Mike is indeed funny. Have a great weekend, guys. Same to you, my good friend Steve Ellis. I'm giving that one a heart. On quitefrankly.tv, Safety Net says, grateful, thankful, and blessed. After 4 days in the hospital, I'm home again. One love, Frank, all the family. Wow, I'm happy to hear that you are well. Very happy to hear you're well. And keep us up to date. Cave Toad says, either of you have ever heard of RetroPie? I guess that's what he called in before. You build a retro platform using a Raspberry Pi mini PC. It's awesome and fun. All the old stuff. There's so many of those, especially when you can get... I know that there are little tiny handhelds now that mimic the old Game Boys, and they have hundreds of Game Boy games in there. I don't know how extensive they are, if they have all of the levels, or if they just come with like maybe 5 or 6 of the original levels. But we had a tiny little mini Super NES that had at least 150 games in there too, and those were full games. We also had a mini Sega Genesis that had all of the full games in there, definitely the Sonics and things like that. So there's plenty. There's plenty out there. So RetroPie. Amethyst Cat says, hi, Frank. When is the next book club and what is the book? Next book club is June, and that is Mark Twain's Adventures of Tom Sawyer. So we get to do that. Charlie Robinson already said, I'm in, Frank. I'm in. The last 3 Junes, me and Charlie Robinson have been able to enjoy ourselves a nice, relaxing, in-season summertime read. W.P. Kinsella to Ray Bradbury and now Mark Twain. It's going to be, I can't wait for it. But remember, we just had a film club in April. We're going to have another film club in May. So make sure you watch The Prestige. We're going to talk about that on Monday, May 19th at 9 p.m. C. Blanche sends a cookie. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. That's that. That's that. All right, let's take one more call as the night rolls to a close. Go ahead, Mark. Last call of the night.
Hey, Frank. I called one time before. I really liked your show tonight. It was hilarious.
Well, thank you.
But I wanted to talk about a possible a real game that would kind of show whether you're vitamin C deficient, which is a vitamin C flush. I thought that would be a good. But people would learn as the guests come on, the biology.
Okay, and, so you said that the competition would be it would be a vitamin C flush.
Yeah, which is it's a technique to see if it's a bowel tolerance type thing, but it's kind of a funny idea with the notion that you're learning. The public's learning about all these health concerns.
Okay, so what would you have to do? Okay, you and I and Mike Baldwin are in a room. We're in a room and we're going to compete. We're going to see who is vitamin C deficient or not. What are we consuming over what amount of time, and what will the results show? Real quick.
Yeah, correct. So it's like 2 grams of ascorbic acid and water, every half hour. I mean, it would be a long show, I guess, but you could edit it. And then you kind of see who has to go first. So that would be the person that was the most deficient in the mineral. vitamin C.
When you say go, are you talking diarrhea or are you talking,
just a flood. Yeah, you have a blowout basically. Yeah.
So vitamin C, 2 grams. You're saying every half hour, the person who is deficient is going to have
about 20 minutes. Maybe it's more like 20 minutes, and it's about a cup of water with this 2 grams of ascorbic acid.
Okay, so let's say, but let's say that an hour and a half goes by or an hour goes by. So 3 20-minute intervals. Does it get to the point eventually where even the person who is not deficient starts shitting their brains out?
Well, I guess it's more of what you would require. I mean, the details, I just came up with the game tonight, sir.
It's okay.
But
I'll tell you something, Mark. It sounds like the Ipecac challenge.
Oh, someone mentioned that in the blog. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. But that's disaster really waiting to happen. But this is more of a medical thing where you feel like if you're not going, then you're really low. And you really need to get, ascorbate's used to build collagen.
Oh, so you're telling me that the person who goes to the bathroom first actually wins because they are not deficient.
Yeah, I mean, I have to get the details. I hope I'm not messing up the details. I mean, maybe the guys in the chat will probably correct me.
Okay.
But it is it's a mechanism to see what level you might need. So you add those all up, and so you kind of back off on that amount that made you go to the bathroom. So
I get you.
You know your daily use would be
right. Well,
so most people can handle.
From a daily supplementation standpoint, thank you for the call, Mark. From a daily supplementation standpoint, I can see how you have to do that. But from a competitive standpoint, what he said there was that the person who goes last, who's actually a little constipated, is deficient. So I don't know if I'd be playing that game where if you win, you have diarrhea. It's a game. I'm sure somebody would take it, but I don't know if I would play that game where if you win, you have diarrhea. So I don't know. We'll leave that for somebody else. Let's see. Valsky says, TGIF, have a great weekend, Frank. Thank you, my friend. Guns and Rosies says, happy early birthday to Wendy Mahoney. Her big day is tomorrow, April 26th. Happy birthday, Wendy. Wendy is in Japan right now. She was telling me about her flight, the connecting flights, all that stuff. She's visiting her daughter out there in Japan. Oh, man, I hope that Aurora's travels don't take her to Japan. I hope her travels don't even take her to Long Island. But yeah, happy birthday, Wendy. Hope you have a good one out there, my friend. All right, well, thank you, guys and gals. It's been wonderful to have you here with me, hanging out. Thank you again to Mike Baldwin, and you all have a great, great weekend. I'll see you on Monday night. Should be great with Jim Lee and some other stories. We'll see what happens over the course of the next 2 days, any big happenings, and we will get a nice roundup in on Monday. So with that, go and check the calendar, become a sponsor so that we can remain independent and continue to kick ass in a big year, and you'll see why it's going to continue to get bigger. So we're going to need your help and support throughout it all, and thank you so much for putting your time into hanging out with us. Have a good night and a good weekend. QuiteFrankly.tv kicks off after this. There's your Friday night after hours. Thank John Carroll if you see him.
I'll catch you on the flip side. It's a little bit of a reminder, a word to the wise, if you will. Do not worry about the worries from yesterday. Leave it in the past. Move forward with confidence because there are so many new things to be experienced today. New joy to be had. So move forward, be strong, and have a great rest of your day.